I feel like my mom has always kind of been my rock. The first person like I called when I got hurt this year was like my mom. I'm like, can you fly here and cook me a meal and like just spend time with me? And that is just the person that makes you feel safe. And I probably took that for granted as a kid, but my mom always made the best meals. I think it's important to take time for yourself. And I think also, like, when I do have free time, one of my escapes is like cooking a healthy meal for myself, whether that's, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Like, I really do enjoy that. Just putting on music and making a home cooked meal. And I think that's because it feels like a safe place for myself.
Okay, so Caitlin Clark just dropped an interview that's got absolutely everyone talking. But here's the crazy part. It's for completely different reasons than usual. We're not talking basketball, no stats, no highlights. This was pure, raw, unfiltered truth about the people who shaped her life and the moments that actually matter. You won't believe this side of Caitlin rarely comes out, and what she revealed about her personal struggles is going to surprise you. Seriously, when was the last time you saw her open up like this? Are you craving more personal content from her, or do you prefer just the basketball? Let me know your thoughts in the comment. Caitlin sat down with Glamour and Eli Lilly, and honestly, this might just be the most important thing she's done all off-season. Forget another basketball clinic. Forget another corporate event where she just smiles and waves. This was different. This was Caitlin actually letting us see who she is when that jersey comes off.
Over the course of my career now, obviously I've been away for 2 years and she has now since retired. But I think like one thing that was probably super impactful on myself and all of my teammates is we always had like a breast cancer game or a cancer game, and she would always bring in cancer survivors that got to kind of tell their story, but also like, the impact our team had on people and how much joy we could bring to them, because those people were huge Iowa women's basketball fans, and them getting to spend a day with us like meant the world to them. So I think it put like great perspective, not only on, basketball, but like what we get to do for other people.
The interview kept going. Right out of the gate, she started talking about her mom. And let me tell you, this wasn't some generic thanks mom you hear from every athlete. She got incredibly specific. Caitlin revealed that when she got hurt this season, the first person she called was her mom, asking her to fly out, cook for her, and just be there. That's a level of vulnerability we just never see from Caitlin. Think about that for a second. Here's someone portrayed as this unstoppable force, this basketball machine who doesn't need anybody. But when things got rough, when her body broke down, she wanted her mom. That's human. That's real. And it's exactly the kind of content fans have been begging for. She went on to explain how her mom always made the best meals, and that became her safe place growing up. Now, whenever Caitlin has free time, she cooks for herself. She puts on music, makes home-cooked meals, because it reminds her of a simpler life, before the pressure, before the expectations, before millions of people had opinions about her every move. That's the stuff people actually connect with, not her three-point percentage or her assists per game. The fact that she finds comfort in cooking, just like her mom used to cook for her, that's what makes someone relatable, not just another athlete.
I think my partnership with Lily, more than anything, first of all, they care about women's sports, which is incredibly important to me. And now getting to play in Indianapolis and them being based here, it feels like a pretty natural partnership. On our jerseys, we wear the Lily patch, so I feel pretty lucky and fortunate to be able to work with them.
Then get this. She brought up Lisa Bluder, her college coach at Iowa. Now, Lisa just did an interview recently where she spilled a bunch of details about Caitlin that nobody knew, and hearing Caitlin talk about Lisa from her own perspective just added another incredible layer to their relationship. Caitlin mentioned how they've stayed super close, even though she's been away for a while, and Lisa has since retired. But here's the kicker, the part that really stood out. When Caitlin talked about Iowa's cancer awareness games, Lisa would actually bring in cancer survivors who got to tell their stories and explain just how much Iowa women's basketball meant to them. Caitlin said it put absolutely everything in perspective. Basketball wasn't just about winning games or filling arenas anymore. It was about bringing genuine joy to people who were fighting battles way harder than anything happening on a court. Those survivors were huge Iowa fans, and spending a day with the team meant the world to them. That powerful realization shaped how Caitlin views her platform now. That's mature thinking that a lot of professional athletes never even develop. The fact that Caitlin understood this, while still in college, shows the kind of character Lisa helped build. It wasn't just about basketball skills. It was about understanding the impact far beyond the game itself.
Maya Moore was definitely my favorite basketball player growing up, male or female. Getting to meet her and watch her play in a game for the first time is probably one of the greatest memories of my childhood, truly. And when Maya Moore did come and watch me at Iowa, it was a surprise. She was sitting courtside, and just to have somebody you grew up wanting to be like take time out of their day to come and support you. And she was inducted to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. And like the way she talked about like team culture and how much that meant to her and being a team player and how impactful that can be on your life is so true. And being on teams that have been really good, like, you know how true that is and how much that meant to her. And throughout the course of her career, like, it's just an easy person to.
Next, she talked about her partnership with Eli Lilly. And before you roll your eyes at another Dort's mention, you have to understand why it actually matters. Lilly is based right there in Indianapolis. The Fever wear the Lilly patch on their jerseys. And here's the most important part. Lilly genuinely cares about women's sports. Caitlin specifically called out that detail. She could have partnered with 1,000 different companies, but she chose one that's actively invested in women's sports and just happens to be in the city where she plays. That's strategic in a way that truly shows Caitlin is thinking long-term about her brand and her impact on the sport. Maya Moore came up next, and Caitlin called her the favorite basketball player she had growing up. Period. Male or female. That's huge. Caitlin didn't separate men's and women's basketball in her head. Her favorite player was Maya because Maya was simply the best.
Book growing up, it was like Winners Never Quit, this picture book, and it was about Mia Hamm. And I remember like when I would read books before I went to bed with my parents, like that was the one I always wanted to pick. The resiliency she had, that's the whole story of the book, and what USA Women's Soccer did for not only, you know, female athletes, but women in general, and how much they brought people together. Like, that's just been her ability, is just really to inspire people and to give back. And I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for them, because they were the people that inspired me to want to play in the first place or want to work hard and achieve everything that I wanted to achieve. Like, if it wasn't for those people that have kind of inspired me, like, I certainly don't think I would be able to play in front of a sold out crowd every single night and have young girls and young boys screaming and wearing my jersey. Like, those are moments you never take for granted.
She recounted meeting Maya for the very first time and watching her play, calling it one of the greatest memories of her entire childhood. Then, years later, Maya actually surprised Caitlin by showing up courtside at an Iowa game, and Caitlin got emotional just reliving that moment. Seriously, having someone you idolize take the time to support you like that, it hits different. But here's the real takeaway from the Maya Moore story. It's when Caitlin talked about Maya's Hall of Fame induction speech. Maya spoke about team culture, being a team player, and how much that shaped her career. Caitlin said it resonated deeply because she's been on really good teams and knows just how true that is. And get this, that's Caitlin acknowledging that individual success literally means nothing without the right people around you. It's a subtle but clear shot at how the Fever handled things this past season, even if she didn't say it directly. The whole mess with the coaching situation, the questionable roster decisions, the way they managed her workload and role on the court. Caitlin's been diplomatic publicly, but comments like these really reveal how she truly feels. She values team culture above absolutely everything. When that culture isn't right, it absolutely impacts performance. The Fever front office should be taking serious notes right now. And then she brought up Mia Hamm. And this is truly where the interview got really personal. Turns out Caitlin's favorite book growing up was Winners Never Quit, a picture book about Mia Hamm that her parents read to her every single night before bed. This book was all about resilience, about getting back up when you get knocked down, about never quitting no matter how hard things get. And let me tell you, that book shaped Caitlin's entire mentality. When you look at her career, all the adversity she's faced, the criticism, the immense pressure, you can actually see that lesson playing out in real time. She also talked about the monumental impact the U.S. women's soccer team had on female athletes, and women in general, how they brought people together and inspired an entire generation. Caitlin straight up said she wouldn't be where she is without those pioneers. They made her want to play sports in the first place. That's Caitlin acknowledging the shoulders she's standing on. She clearly understands she didn't create women's basketball popularity. She's benefiting from decades of work by women who paved the way. But she also knows she has a massive responsibility to keep building for the next generation. The interview wrapped up with Caitlin talking about playing in front of sold-out crowds every night, seeing young girls and boys screaming and wearing her jersey, and you could tell she meant it when she said those are moments you never take for granted. This entire interview was Caitlin showing a side of herself that's been mysteriously missing from public view. The human side. The daughter who needs her mom when things get tough. The player who cooks to feel grounded. The person who understands her platform is bigger than just basketball. And honestly, this is exactly what fans have been asking for. People are tired of the corporate Caitlin who just shows up to events, smiles for photos and says nothing interesting. They want the real Caitlin, the one who has thoughts and feelings and struggles just like everyone else. The criticism of Caitlin this offseason has been valid. She's been too quiet, too removed, too focused on brand deals and business moves. while seemingly ignoring the very fan base that built her up. This interview is a definite step in the right direction. But here's the kicker. It needs to be the beginning, not a one-time thing. Caitlyn absolutely needs to do more of this. More interviews where she opens up, more social media posts that actually show her personality, more genuine engagement with fans who desperately want to feel connected to her. The distance she's created between herself and her supporters is hurting her brand, whether she realizes it or not. Her shoes drop in a few days, those player edition Nikes everyone's been waiting for. And yes, people should support them, but support is a two-way street. Caitlyn needs to give fans a reason to stay invested beyond just buying merchandise. The way the Fever handled her this season created problems that still haven't been addressed. They added muscle to her frame when she didn't need it, took her off the ball in ways that made no sense, and made decisions that seemed more about control than actually putting her in a position to succeed. Caitlyn needs to go back to what made her great, not physically but mentally. She needs to reconnect with the pure joy of the game. Maybe that means spending time back at Iowa, training where she became a star, going to Iowa games and remembering what it felt like when basketball was fun instead of just a business. This interview showed fleeting glimpses of that Caitlyn, the one who plays because she loves it, not because contracts and endorsements demand it. But glimpses aren't enough. She needs to fully embrace that version of herself again if she wants to reach the heights everyone knows she's capable of. The off-season content has been lacking. One good interview doesn't erase months of silence, but it's a start. If Caitlyn keeps this energy going, keeps opening up, keeps letting fans see the real her, the support will come back stronger than ever. People don't just want to watch Caitlyn play basketball. They want to root for someone they feel like they know, someone who's relatable, someone who's not just a brand but a person. This interview gave them that, and the response has been overwhelmingly positive because fans are starving for this content. The golf event is coming up, more appearances are scheduled, and hopefully more interviews like this one, where Caitlyn actually says something meaningful instead of recycling the same old talking point. That's what truly separates good athletes from great ones. The ability to connect beyond the court. One thing this interview absolutely proved is that Caitlyn has depth. She's not just a shooter who can score 40 points. She's someone with profound influences and inspirations, and a genuine appreciation for the people who helped her get here. That makes her story richer and far more interesting than any highlight reel ever could. The Eli Lilly partnership makes so much more sense now. It's not just another corporate deal, it's aligned with her values and her market. That's smart branding. That's thinking about longevity instead of just cashing quick checks. The Maya Moore connection is powerful because it shows Caitlyn values character as much as championship. Maya famously walked away from basketball in her prime to fight for criminal justice reform. That's the kind of person Caitlyn looks up to, someone who used their platform for something bigger. And the Mia Hamm influence, that explains Caitlyn's insane competitive fire. That book about never quitting became her philosophy. And when you watch Caitlyn play, you see that she doesn't quit, even when she's exhausted, even when her team is down, even when critics say she's overrated. She just keeps fighting. This interview absolutely needed to happen months ago, but better late than never. If Caitlyn keeps this momentum, keeps being authentic, keeps showing fans who she really is, the entire narrative around her will shift. People will remember why they fell in love with her game in the first place. Caitlyn Clark just gave us the realest interview we've seen from her in a long time. This is the content we've been waiting for, and hopefully it's just the beginning.